Before I go right into the $2 deals, I want to showcase a couple cool gadgets that happen to cost a little bit more than $2, but I just thought they were cool and I think they deserve to be included. Starting off with this smartwatch, there's no real branding here, and it's only $20, but believe it or not, this is actually the most expensive watch I've bought from AliExpress. Okay, so first off, we're starting out with a good one. This is a smartwatch. I think it's Duff Fit is what it's called, even though it doesn't really flaunt that. User manual, we don't need that. And here's the watch. Let me show you what it looks like when it's off, or I tried at least. Instead of having to press that button, it realizes when you look at it, it's not great. But the build quality on this is really good. You can also download new screen types and all that. And then if you look in here, there's a few features that this watch has. One of them is blood pressure, which I'll show you how this works, or the lack of working. So the thing about this is that number tends to always read about the same, and it doesn't correlate with an actual blood pressure cuff. So it's kind of just off, it's wrong, it's probably a placebo. It's got these little lights at the bottom that I don't know if they're there just to make it look like it's doing something, but it doesn't seem to work. I can play music, but I'm not sure exactly how that works. There's what looks like a memory card slot on the side, which actually is, as far as I know, it does nothing. And an oxygen meter, we can humor this, but I'm pretty sure this doesn't work. See, it starts out at 99. Oh, look, I'm doing good. And then just to make it a little believable, it's gonna go to 98. Oh, it skipped 98 this time. Different watch interfaces, can tell you the weather. I don't know why it's not connected to my Bluetooth, but typically that would tell you the forecast and weather. This watch does have a unique charging cable. I don't know how unique it is. It probably is a mimic of a Apple Watch or something. So it's got this magnetic attachment. If you put it this way, it doesn't actually stick. It repels. But if you put it the right way, it just kind of locks in. And that's it for the Duff Fit smartwatch. Overall, very good build quality. It only costs $20. I would get this if the features that this has on it is what you want. Next up, we got the TNG Bluetooth speaker. This cost me just shy of 17 bucks. This is not going to be a real unboxing experience or anything, because I checked it out prior to making this video, so I know what I'm getting into. It's kind of, it's got hit or miss audio. It's not the greatest, I wouldn't say. The reason why I bought this one wasn't necessarily for the audio quality. Even though it does have a subwoofer and it has a main speaker, so it has a little bit of bass, and that part is nice. Audio quality is really not that great though. The build quality feels kind of like cheap plastic, but what it does have is lots of features. So one of those features being this light at the end here. It's mediocre, but it's something. Then one thing you don't see on Bluetooth speakers typically is a solar panel, and I wanted that in particularly. I would have got a higher quality unit, but I couldn't really find any that could do all these things that this could do. Obviously it functions as a Bluetooth speaker, so you can hook your phone up to it and play songs or whatever, but it also has a radio. It also has a charging port, obviously, but it also has an output, so you can charge your phone off. That's also something that I was looking for. And then another added feature, it has an SD card reader. Also has a 3.5mm jack for standard headphones. And then it has your standard micro USB that came with it. And this antenna, I'll tell you what, you can't actually get it out with your damn hands. You have to find a tool to get it out with. Okay, so I don't know if this is on. Is it on? Let's see. Is the blue light on? Okay, so we're on. So let's go to mode settings. This should get us on the radio. Okay, let's find a... Turn it down, turn it down. Let's find a real radio station. Oh, that's not horrible. There's a little bit of fuzz, but we're in the middle of the house. I got metal siding. So let me crank it up. Let's see how this sounds on the video for you guys. Just found out a ghost left town. The Queen of California is stepping down. Let's turn it down. Get down. Yeah, I hope that doesn't give me a monetization strike or something, because that's a song that's playing on the radio, but let's hope that doesn't happen. So yeah, that's been the TG280 speaker. Cost me about 17, 18 bucks. Next up is an item I actually picked up at Walmart.com. The reason I'm including this is to make it known that a lot of times these memory cards are scams. From my experience, most of the time, if you get a memory card that seems really cheap and too good to be true, it probably is. Next up, we have an item that came from actually Walmart.com rather than AliExpress. This is supposed to be a 512 gigabyte SD card, and it only cost me about 16 bucks. So I want to see if this actually has the capacity that it says it does, because half a terabyte is quite a bit for 16 bucks. So let me go ahead and try this in a Nintendo Switch, just so we can see the capacity of it. Alright, so GoPros don't really focus that well close up, but it does say 475 gigabytes. Let me go ahead and download a big game to the memory card and see how fast it actually downloads. Before we download anything for Switch, because I have to figure it out, it's kind of confusing, let's go ahead and load up some songs to play through this TNG speaker. Okay, something really weird just happened with the SD card. I knew this wouldn't be a legit 512 megabytes. It said unable to access the SD card or something of that nature. We happened to get a little bit of this card filled, but it did actually just, you know, shut down, and then it went to that loading screen when I tried to reset it, which I've never seen. But let's try a smaller file. Let's try Angry Bunnies, which is only 88 megabytes. And let's see if it actually does the job. So unless there's something severely wrong with this card, this file should transfer quick and unable to access the SD card. Well, that's actually messed up, because this is actually the only item in this review that I got from Walmart.com, and it appears to be pretty awful. If I paid 16 bucks for a card that's only about 32 gigabytes and it spoofs the data to make it look like it's 512 gigabytes, I could have got a legitimate, at least a 128 of a normal SD card that worked. So I put a few songs on this, a few MP3s. We're gonna go ahead and try it in the Bluetooth speaker setup. Yo, I swear I have the worst luck. This is just gonna not work. Let me explain something about what happened to this. Now, the flashlight always works, so we got a good battery, right? But the thing about this is it gets stuck in a mode where it stays on, but you can't turn it off, and it gets stuck with no functionality. None of these buttons end up working. I didn't think this would happen again. I think it has to do with me putting that memory card in it, because one thing that did happen is I put something in this USB, and that's when it started that cycle. And what I had to do to fix it is I had to keep this light on overnight until the battery drained to the point where this would shut itself down. And now I think we're stuck in that same mode once again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's toast again. We're gonna have to do the same process over again. Try to get this battery to run down before it starts working again. I don't have any other solutions because you can't pull the battery. If you could, it would reset like that. So this is the only thing we can do. Usually everything you get from these websites has something little wrong with it. And this is kind of a big deal. Some of the things have huge deals wrong with them, like the SD card. If this SD card is doing what I think it's doing, we overpaid for it. So these are the $2 items, and there's a special way to get these deals. When you bundle 3 to 5 items together, you actually get a discount. They were labeled $1.99 each, which includes shipping. Not really positive how it turned out to be $13.62, but apparently that's a savings of over $7. Let's take a look at the first $2 item. These earbuds were normally on sale for $4.30, marked down from $10. But because I did this deal where I paired 5 items together, I got each one for $1.99. So essentially I saved 80%, I guess. So next up, we bought a cheap pair of earbuds. Only $1.99 for these. Okay, so they do feel cheap. At least it's got a little shininess to it. Appears to be... Okay, let's take a look at this. Something tells me that there's no actual battery in here. Even though there is a battery indicator, that might actually work when you go to plug it in. But let's go ahead and see if these actually pair with my phone. Do I have to... Oh, wait, no. That does work. I see. Okay. I mean, they don't sound the greatest, but they sound a lot better than $1.99. I don't know if that can be actually picked up by the microphone. but they're not absolutely horrible. They're not the greatest thing I've ever heard, but they have decent volume. Not the greatest quality, but not the worst. But for $1.99, if this is all you can afford, this is probably the best option you could get for $1.99. No way, is that a swipe control? Or do you just touch it? It is a touch control. That actually works. There's no way. You just touch it and it works. I'm very surprised for $1.99 that they could put this kind of technology into something so cheap. And, you know, quality of the entire case and build in general is not that great, but it does the job and it does it well for the price. So that's definitely a win. Also comes with this cord. Next up is a $2 smartwatch. I know that seems really impossible, or is it? And once again, it looks like I'm apparently saving 80%. So let's go back to these watches, the ones that I don't even know if they actually work. Let's go ahead and peel this off. I don't see any screen embedded in that. There's what looks like it's supposed to look like it's a camera, even though it's obviously not a camera. I don't see any buttons on this. I don't know how you would turn it on, even if it is real. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this apart, but it would suck if it was real and I just didn't know how to use it. So let's take a look at the manual. I think it's all in Chinese. I don't know if there's any English. Okay, there is. Let me actually take a minute to read this. Also, let me review this box here. Smart bracelet for your health steward. I don't know why it's calling me steward. What else? There's also some broken English on the back here. So it says it has a 240 by 240 screen. That's even if it has a screen. Data transfer with Bluetooth 4.0, master chip, whatever that is. Chatting face. What? What else you got here? State of time. I would hope it has the time because it is a watch, right? 27 grams, just under an ounce, 150 mAh. Obviously, that's a small battery, but you don't need anything huge. Okay, let's see what happens when I go ahead and put these on. I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure even though they're bent this way, they go this way. Yeah, that looks right. And then we'll put this side on. Not sure how to get this to do anything. It says manual tells me to press buttons and stuff. Yeah, there is not a single button on this thing. Let's see if we can go ahead and... See, I don't want to end up breaking it and have it actually be of some kind of function. But I don't think it has anything in it. There's no way I'm getting this on the camera, I don't think. But if you look closely, there is what looks like a screen just under the surface of that. So, I don't know. It really could be real, but I can't really understand how to turn it on or anything. So, we're going to have to break it. I don't know why they would use real metal if there wasn't some realness to this watch, but there's literally no way to turn it on. Let me find a way to get this open. We're gonna have to go ahead and just break it. There we go, that's a good way. Okay, it's got a real LCD screen. I'll be damned. It's got all the components. What the heck? It's even got a vibrating motor. How the heck were you supposed to turn this on, though? Maybe I missed something in the book, but there's no charging ports, no buttons, nothing. How is this supposed to do anything? That was a button? If that's a button, it should work now, because there's really nothing that changed here. So put this back together. That's a button, maybe? It does nothing. Unless it's not charged, but how the heck do you charge it? This is missing something. It was supposed to charge through that. I really don't know. It has real components in it, so the next one I probably won't break, but whatever. Let me know in the comments what I did wrong, because there's obviously functional electronics in this thing. None of the buttons work. But maybe this is like a touch-sensitive button here, and this is just not charged. It didn't come with a charger, so I really don't understand what I'm supposed to do. But next up, Not sure if this watch functions the same way.
Next up, we have another $2 smartwatch, which I would go ahead and say this one's a little bit lower quality, which is a little bit odd because the retail price is quite a bit higher.
Let's go ahead and peel this off. It's got that same kind of button layout. How are you supposed to use it? This one just came loose in the bag. It had no box. It looked like it had been ripped open. There was no way to... let's see here. Okay, that's our little charger that... Well, I really don't get it. Both sides come off, but this side has no charger on it. I don't really want to have to break this, but there's no way of figuring out what it's supposed to do and how it works. So, guess there's only one thing we can really do. I don't want it to snap. Okay. You know, if there's a way to break it and then get it back together, that'd be nice. Okay. This appears to look similar to the other one, but it is missing some things. There's no rumble motor in there. I don't know what that is. That must be the speaker. I wonder if this was supposed to be the on button here. I just don't see any value in a watch that doesn't work. These appear to be like real screens and stuff. If they could have just went the extra mile and made it turn on, you know, it would have been something. Could have been a crappy watch, but it looks like they spent just as much making this as they would have a functional watch. Looks like the little cable came out of the screen there. Yeah, this looks like we're dead in the water. It doesn't look like anything's going on. But I'm going to actually try to put that cable back in there and try to get it to work. Managed to get these back together. They may or may not be in working order. Things kind of snapped back together. Things look like they weren't completely broke. Aesthetically, they don't look that damaged either. Maybe somebody in the comments can actually tell me a way to get these to actually function. But for now, they're just going to be laying around. I might try to get my money back, but who really cares? Only a few bucks, so.
And next up, we picked up a microscope that clips onto your camera on your phone. And once again, this was also almost 80% savings.
So next up, we have this microscope that clips onto your phone. It's supposed to be 60x magnification. That's pretty cool. It just clips on your camera right there. And it's got a light on it so you can see things better. It just clips right on the camera. You got to center it over the camera for it to work right. But let's test it out.
This is what the image looks like. Kind of blurry on the sides. I know the optics are a little off. I shouldn't have to tell you what this is under the magnifying glass. You could probably take your guess. Seems to work pretty good though. And here's the fourth item on the list. These are car dent pullers.
And these are our dent pullers, meant to pull dents from cars. When I bought this, I wasn't aware we actually got two of them. I thought they would be a little bit higher quality, but what can you really expect for $1.99? Pretty much all plastic, but they appear to be pretty durable. Let's test them out. So look, first of all, let's stick it to the stove. And, ooh, oh yeah. Let's try something a little bit more heavy. I'm gonna try to lift a 50-pound weight. If I can ever get it off now, jeez. So here is our 50-pound weight, just so you can see it, so you can believe me. This surface might not be the best surface. It's kind of rough, plus it's not completely flat. But let's test it anyway. Hopefully I don't drop it on my foot. So what you gotta do is go like this, press down, raise this lever. And it doesn't look like we're getting much of a connection here. Nope, it does not actually stick to this at all.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't have a car with a dent to test this on, nor did I have anything else proper to test it on inside my house. But I can assume that it probably can lift about 50 pounds. And last of all, we had to fill the list out with 5 items, so we just got ourselves a generic flashlight.
Last of all, sort of the filler item that I had to use to fill out the list. Here's our flashlight. It's pretty run-of-the-mill, takes 3 AAA batteries. Has this adjustment right here to narrow the path or widen it. Let's take a look at what it looks like in the dark. Really nothing special per se. So there's our widest field of light that we can emit, and we can shrink it down to one little dot, and it allows the light to travel a little bit farther with intensity. Yeah, just a flashlight.
Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you made it this far, geez, you're the greatest. I'll see you in the next one.